There is a crack in your windshield right now that you probably cannot even see. Not a giant split, not a dramatic spider web, not the kind of damage that makes you call your insurance company in a panic. I'm talking about the tiny stuff, the faint little starburst from a pebble strike, the hairline edge in a chip, the microfracture that only appears when the sun hits the glass at the right angle, the kind of damage most people ignore because it still looks fine. And that is exactly why it gets worse, because windshield damage almost never begins as a replacement. It begins as a moment, a stone, a pop, a white dot, a tiny crescent, then a week passes, then the weather changes, then the cabin heats up, then you hit one pothole too hard, and suddenly that tiny harmless mark becomes a crack long enough to ruin your view, weaken the screen, and turn a quick fix into a much bigger bill. Professional glass sources warn that chips and cracks grow with time, heat, bumps, and contamination, and that delaying repair can turn a repairable break into a replacement. Now here's the part nobody explains clearly. People think windshield glass fails because of the visible crack. Wrong. It usually fails because of what gets inside the crack. Moisture, dust, road film, car wash soap, washer fluid, heat expansion, cold contraction. That contamination is what turns a clean break into a dirty one. And dirty breaks are harder to repair well. That is where the so-called two trick comes in, not as a permanent fix, not as some miracle kitchen chemistry that beats auto glass resin, but as a temporary move that can buy you time and protect the damage from getting worse before a real repair happens. And the reason people misunderstand this is because the internet loves magic. Magic glue, magic polish, magic household hack, magic don't tell the insurance company nonsense. But auto glass is not magic. It is laminated safety glass. It has structure, stress, layers. And once you understand what really makes a small chip repairable, the whole scam of fake DIY shortcuts falls apart. Because the real secret is not filling the glass with random household liquid. The real secret is keeping the break clean and dry until proper resin gets in there. That's it. That is the entire game. Now let me tell you the lie most people believe first. They hear micro crack and think, I'll just drip something clear into it. Nail polish, super glue, clear lacquer, some kitchen cabinet liquid that looks shiny enough to feel convincing. And for about 10 minutes it seems brilliant. The crack looks less obvious, the surface looks sealed, the car still drives, so they think they won. They didn't, because the surface appearance is not the repair. The bond is the repair. The resin penetration is the repair. The air removal is the repair. The curing process is the repair. And when you contaminate a windshield chip with the wrong material, you can make a professional repair harder or even impossible. Novus explicitly warns against using nail polish or super glue on windshield damage because it can contaminate the chip and turn a simple repair into a full replacement. They only hear, look, it disappeared. No, it got coated. Huge difference. A real windshield repair works by removing air from the brake and injecting the proper resin so it can bond the damaged area and restore clarity and integrity as much as possible. Glass Doctor's repair instructions center on cleaning the chip, drying out moisture, and using a proper resin kit, not a kitchen liquid. So what is the real two trick? It is not a mystery liquid. It is temporary contamination control. If you catch the damage early, before you can get a proper resin repair, the smartest cheap move is to protect the chip from dirt and moisture so it stays repairable. That is the real value. That is what actually saves money. That is what keeps a small break from becoming an expensive one. And yes, I know that is less exciting than the one kitchen liquid insurance companies hate, but it is also the truth. And the truth is better when the thing you are protecting is the glass sitting 12 inches in front of your face at highway speed. Here is what really happens when a chip is fresh. The impact creates a tiny fracture pattern in the outer layer of laminated glass. Air is trapped inside. If left exposed, dust and water work their way in. Once that happens, clarity goes down and repair quality goes down with it. Glass repair guidance emphasizes cleaning, dryness, and quick treatment. Even rain moisture in a chip may need to be dried before resin is applied. That is why smart technicians care about time. Not because they want to scare you, because the clock actually matters. A clean chip is a good candidate. A wet, dirty chip is a compromised candidate. A spreading crack is a losing candidate. And here's where the cheap move matters. If you cannot get the glass repaired immediately, the best temporary action is to keep contamination out. That is why serious glass sources say to use clear tape as a temporary measure, not nail polish, not super glue, not DIY kitchen experiments. Clear tape helps keep dirt out until professional repair. Notice what that means. The hack is not really a sealing liquid at all. The hack is preserving the chip so the real sealing material can do its job later. That is the hidden mechanic logic behind a lot of so-called magic tricks online. People think the cheap item is doing the whole repair. In reality, it is only protecting the surface long enough to prevent the damage from getting worse. That is still valuable, very valuable, because the difference between a repair and a replacement often comes down to size, location, cleanliness, and speed. Small damage can often be repaired. Larger cracks, damage in the driver's line of sight, or damage that spreads too far usually pushes the windshield toward replacement. Glass Doctor notes that DIY repair is generally limited to chips smaller than a quarter and cracks under about 3 inches, while Progressive and State Farm mention repair is commonly possible for smaller cracks, often under 6 inches depending on position and severity. Source. And now we need to talk about the word people throw around without understanding: micro cracks. A true micro crack in windshield glass is not like a scratch in a coffee table. It exists inside a stressed laminate system designed to protect you in a crash, resist flying debris, and help maintain structural integrity. A cracked windshield weakens the glass and can make it less effective in protecting occupants or resisting further impact. That is why cosmetic thinking gets people in trouble. If you cover a scratch on house glass with some liquid and it looks better, fine. If you cover a windshield break and tell yourself it is repaired because it looks less obvious, you are lying to yourself. And windshield lies get expensive fast. Now let's deal with the insurance company's Fume part. Honestly, that part is backwards. In many cases, insurers actually prefer repair over replacement because it is faster and cheaper. GEICO says repairs can often be done at no charge with comprehensive coverage and notes it is important to repair chips quickly before they spread. Progressive says if you have comprehensive, repairs usually cost you nothing, and State Farm and Allstate likewise describe repair as the first choice when the damage is small enough. So no, the insurance industry is not panicking because you discovered olive oil or dish soap or egg white or any other internet nonsense. What actually makes insurers happy is when the damage gets handled early, before it becomes a full replacement claim. That means the smartest anti-insurance move is not a fake home remedy. It is catching the chip early enough that nobody has to buy a whole windshield. That is the real money saver. Now let's walk through the psychology that makes people fall for the household liquid myth in the first place. First, the damage is small. Second, the car still drives. Third, the windshield is transparent, so any clear liquid feels plausible. Fourth, people have seen clear resin repairs and assume any clear liquid must work the same way. It doesn't. A proper windshield repair kit uses a dedicated resin and a process designed to evacuate air, fill the break, and cure properly. Glass Doctor's step-by-step instructions include cleaning the glass, drying moisture, applying an adhesive pedestal, using a syringe to pull out bubbles, injecting resin, curing, and scraping excess. That is very different from smearing household liquid on the surface. That vacuum step matters. That curing step matters. That material matters. That is why professional repairs exist, and that is why the internet shortcut usually stops at "see, it looks better," instead of proving the crack is actually stabilized inside the glass. So if you want the truth in one sentence, here it is. There is no credible $2 kitchen liquid that permanently seals windshield micro cracks the way proper repair resin does, but there is a cheap, smart, temporary method that protects the crack from getting worse. Keep it clean, keep it dry, keep contamination out, get it repaired fast. That is the real-world version. Now let me make this even more practical. If you get a fresh chip on the road, do not start rubbing it with your thumb. Do not spray cleaner into it. Do not blast it with washer fluid. Do not run it through a car wash. Do not park in scorching direct sunlight if you can avoid it. Do not hit it with boiling water in winter or ice-cold water in summer like some viral fool on social media. Temperature swings and stress changes help cracks spread. Novus specifically advises avoiding direct sunlight and warns that even normal bumps and temperature changes can worsen the damage. And above all, do not contaminate the chip with nail polish or super glue. I'm repeating that because it is the most dangerous fake fix in this entire category. It feels smart because it's cheap. It feels clever because it's clear. It feels permanent because it dries hard. But hard is not the same as correct. In auto glass, wrong chemistry is often worse than no chemistry. Because no chemistry can still be cleaned and repaired. Wrong chemistry can ruin the repair path. That is why the cheapest, truly smart move is almost laughably simple. A small piece of clear tape. That's it, not as a repair, as a shield. A shield against dirt, water, road film, and all the junk that turns a clean chip into a dirty crack. And then you move quickly. Because once the damage is still small, repair is often fast. State Farm says many small repairs can be done within 20 to 30 minutes. Geco says the process is often around 30 minutes. Progressive says repairs can typically be arranged quickly, often within 48 hours. That is the irony. People spend days chasing fake $2 miracles to avoid a repair that might take half an hour. And in many cases, if they carry the right coverage, the repair may cost little or nothing out of pocket. So the real insurance companies hate this secret isn't a kitchen liquid. It's knowing the difference between preservation and repair. Preservation is cheap. Repair is fast. Replacement is expensive. The whole battle is about staying out of the replacement zone. That is why this topic matters. Because once a crack spreads beyond repair size, or moves into the driver's line of sight, or reaches the edge, your options shrink fast. And once you cross that line, no household trick matters anymore. So if you want the smartest version of this viral headline, here it is. The 2 method is not a secret liquid that heals glass. It is the cheap temporary habit that stops a micro crack from becoming a contaminated, spreading, unrepairable mess. That is the truth. And the truth saves more windshields than internet chemistry ever will. So the next time a pebble hits your windshield and leaves that little white scar, do not wait for it to turn dramatic. Do not trust a fake miracle from the kitchen drawer. Do not mistake clear for correct. Protect the chip, keep it dry, keep dirt out, get proper resin into it fast. Because in windshield repair, speed is money, cleanliness is money, accuracy is money. And the people who lose the most are always the ones who thought they had more time than they did.